So thank you. Now I'm going to talk in next 10 minutes what is the potential role of targeted therapy. And everybody has reiterated the same fact that oral cancer is a disease of the developing world or the emerging world or the impoverished world, whatever you can say. So the red areas belong to those areas which have got the highest burden of oral cancer. And when we are talking of targeted therapy, we must keep it in mind that population for whom, as Carvalho said, that access to even basic health care is a problem. Now, oral cancer targeted therapy, when we are talking, there are very few studies, and whatever data we are going to use in extrapolation of what has been done in larynx, what has been done in pharynx cancer, because all the head and neck squamous cell carcinoma sites, subsites are clubbed together, and then most of the studies are done because you want faster accrual. So there are very few studies which are specifically looking at oral cancer. Now we know that it is not correct to extrapolate what happens in larynx and pharynx to oral cancer. The mere fact that oral cancer is a different disease, it has got a different biology, and this different disease and biology comes from a different etiology. Now, etiology means that yes, tobacco, alcohol, and HPV are common in all head and neck squamous cell carcinoma, but betel nut is something unique. Smokeless tobacco chewing is something unique to that population. And we know that biologically the oral cancers are more radio-resistant and perhaps chemo-resistant. And there are two randomized controlled trials which have shown, unlike in larynx and pharynx cancer, where neoadjuvant chemotherapy in operable oral cancers has no role. So what I'm trying to show by this slide, that oral cancer is a completely different disease, and please do not extrapolate any data which is available for non-oral subsites to be used for oral cancer. Therefore, surgery is the mainstay of the treatment of oral cancer. For early cancer, it is curable. For advanced cancer, it is part of a curative treatment. Now, why we are talking about targeted therapy? Because there are several potential biomarkers which are there, which can be targeted theoretically. Hypothetically, they sound very interesting, and they have worked in lung cancer, they have worked in many other cancers, but unfortunately, when you look at the most targeted molecule, that is the EGFR. Now, epidermal growth factor receptor is involved in the pathogenesis of oral cancer and also in the prognosis of oral cancer. And therefore, it sounds very exciting if we can target it. Apart from EGFR, there are several targets which are, do we have a pointer anywhere? It's not there. I think the Brazilians have taken it. No, it's fine, it's fine. I can't, oh, it's there. The Indians can't see. Okay, so there are several potential biomarkers, and if you see epidermal growth factor receptors, HER, the HER2, the VEGF, the IGF, the MIT, then we have transmembrane, we have intracellular. There are so many targets, but let me tell you, till date, none of these have really translated into clinical benefit. That is in the short, I can say. But again, let us move ahead because I have been given 8 more minutes to speak. Now, if I am talking about what is the potential role of targeted therapy in oral cancer, this is the jigsaw puzzle, that because there are several situations and there are several indications where it has been tried, and let me take one by one. Now, talking about the chemo prevention. Now, chemo prevention, we know that it's EGFR and several other markers and targets are known which are involved in the pathogenesis, and for each stage, sub-stage before from normal mucosa to cancer, there are several sub-stages on the morphological appearance of the mucosa, and for each pathological or morphological marker, there is a distinct target which has been identified. And people have tried to target one of those targets in their own studies, but the one study which I would like to share with you. Why is it not moving? Yeah. One study that I would like to share is a very nice study Unfortunately, in only 12 patients, which does show a proof of principle that it is possible in advanced oral premalignant lesion, a combination of erlotinib and celecoxib, which is giving a complete response of 43%. Because we see sometimes a field cancerization, entire oral cavity is replaced by oral premalignant lesion, no treatment is possible. Therefore, this sounds like an exciting option. But since this is a patient, 12 patients, there are no much studies beyond that. We cannot advocate use of erlotinib or any target therapy in management of premalignant lesion or even, yeah. Now let us move to the induction chemotherapy. From chemoprevention, we go to the induction chemotherapy, a simple study, a phase 2 study, which shows that if you add cetuximab to induction chemotherapy, which is a cisplatin and 5-FU, unfortunately, most of the patients were oropharyngeal cancer and none of the patients were oral cancer, though you have a very high partial response. But I would not say that we can use this data for oral cancer because there is only one patient with oral cancer. So if I have to conclude, because I have only 10 minutes, so if I have to conclude based on whatever I read, that there is no role of targeted therapy currently, any form, out of experiment, out of any protocol. So there is no such like adding cetuximab or any targeted therapy to neoadjuvant setting, it improves the outcome. Can I? Now let us move to the concurrent setting. The most often quoted study is the Bonner study, where radiotherapy was given concurrently with RT, and it found that those patients who received cetuximab in addition to radiotherapy, the overall survival improved by 20 months. Again, there was no patient diagnosed with oral cancer in this study. So this study was not at all looking at, though it says head and neck squamous cell carcinoma, advanced, but none of the patients were oral cancer. So it will be premature to say that this data can be used for oral cancer treatment. Now, that means that there is no role of even concurrent chemoradiotherapy in management of oral cancer. Now we move on to adjuvant setting. Does addition of cetuximab will change the management in the adjuvant setting? This was a study, again from University of Wisconsin. What they did, there were 2 arms, randomized controlled trial, cetuximab plus cisplatin plus radiotherapy. And then the other arm received cetuximab with docetaxel plus radiotherapy. They found that this arm did better. And therefore, if you want to have a combination of immunotherapy, targeted therapy along with chemotherapy, then docetaxel is better because it gets better results. But unfortunately, cetuximab is there in both arms, so you cannot say whether cetuximab made a difference. So what they did, they had a previous randomized control trial, RTOG 9501, which randomized patient into cisplatin plus RT vis-a-vis docetaxel plus RT. There was no cetuximab dose in that randomized control trial. So what they did, they compared survival of that study with the survival of this study, and they found that if cetuximab is added to cisplatin, there's a 2.5% survival benefit, and if there is added to docetaxel, there's 11.1% benefit. We know that comparing 2 trials and using historical control is not the best way to do it, and therefore, again, there is no clear-cut guideline that addition of cetuximab to conventional adjuvant treatment will improve overall outcome. So there is no role in the adjuvant setting. Now moving on to this palliative setting, this is one study that most of you will know, the EXTREME study. Though there were only 20% of the oral cavity cancer patients, most of them were non-oral cavity, it showed that there was a 2.7% median overall survival improvement when cetuximab was added to conventional chemotherapy, that is platin plus fluorouracil. Now, this 2.7 month may look very small to you, but considering that these patients already have 7.4 or 10 months of survival, this quantum appears more significant when you look in this perspective. But if you look at the ESMO guideline, though there is a small benefit, it does say that first-line option should be combination of cetuximab with platinum and fluorouracil in patients with recurrent and metastatic head and neck squamous cell carcinoma. Now, this is something that, again, I'm saying that 2/3 of the oral cancer patients, they come from the developing world. And look at the cost increased if you add cetuximab, $36,000 per person. My own salary is less than that, though I'm a doctor. So what I'm trying to say, that though we might say that it's a very effective thing and it's a first-line therapy, but look at the cost that the nation is going to incur and the society and the individual is going to incur. So with this in mind, I will not recommend cetuximab or any targeted therapy in a recurrent metastatic palliative setting for an increment of 2.7 months of the survival. So again, I would say that there is no role, perhaps, in India. Like in my practice, I'm not really prescribing, we see 300 patients every day, but I'm maybe prescribing 1 in 300, a very small number. So it is not practical to talk about that. So though palliative setting is the only evidence-based setting for use of palliative therapy, but I will not really recommend it. Just last 2 slides, nimotuzumab is a cheaper, locally done in India, but unfortunately, there is no data to support use of nimotuzumab, though it is a cheaper alternative to targeted therapy. Panitumumab has been used, spectrum study, it is not effective. Lapatinib has been used, it is not effective. VEGF has been used, not effective. So this, if I have to conclude, nobody wants me to conclude. Okay. Now, if I really want to conclude that, let me tell you, it is still an area of active research. The only thing with the fine prints, with red herring pattern, is that it is first-line therapy along with platinum fluorouracil, but I would not recommend that we would ever use it in developing world. So ultimately, this is the bottom line, that there is no proven rule of targeted therapy in oral cancer. Thank you very much.